Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. All right, what I'm going to get into today, I'm doing a workshop, and it's going to be closed. It's not going to be open to the public. It's going to be special invitation. There's reasons why. I'll get into that a little bit later. But what I want to get into is basically what it's going to be about, why I'm doing it, why I feel I have to do it, and all those kind of things. If you're in the chat room, you can put a question in there. I'll get to it later. I got to get through some things like why I'm doing it and how it's going to take place and all that. First off, okay, what have all the lies helped? How did it help anybody move forward? How did it help races move forward? All the lies have been put out there. Does it help people? It sure doesn't. And if you think we got anywhere different than we were 30,000 years ago, you better think again. And the way I word it, the only thing that changes is the toys men play with. Nothing else changes. All right. Now, people love stories. And I mean, stories sound good. They entertain people. And a lot of people believe the stories they hear, no matter how good or bad they are. But how far from the truth they are, they're probably much farther from the truth than most people want to know. So what I'm going to do is, I'll say it this way. Everything written down by man is about 60% true. And that's about 90% of the time. All right? Now, you might not believe me on that. Well, at the same time, if it's written in stone, carved on human or animal skin, and it's old, people will believe it. All right? Why is that? Because it's old? Were men different 20,000 years ago? They were honest, loving people? No. So what happens is the stories change as they get told over and over. Exaggerated for a word. Just about every talk I hear, and usually I rebel halfway through whatever they're talking about. They make it sound good, and they always make themselves sound good. I'm going to have a problem with my Mr. Gizmo here. All right. I was originally going to charge people for the workshop. I decided I'm not doing that for reasons. My truth is you really can't charge for truth. And when you do, when you try to make tons of money off of it, it's an abuse to what the truth really is. Especially when truth has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do basically with what's really going on as far as what we perceive is going on. So a half-truth is useless. It doesn't help us in any way. But people think if it helps them make money or makes them feel good, it's important. And that's really a lousy way to judge something. All right. Now, the second part of people's truth is it's taken from everybody else's truth. Most people, when they grow up or meet their families and stuff like that, what they hear is programmed ideas from their parents, from their friends. And then in schools, do they teach anything important in a school?
No.
And no, they don't. And when you talk about what they teach you, is not how to live life. It's only about preparing you to try to make money. Hold on, let me try to let that guy in.
Oh, Gizmo is causing all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, come in. It always starts trouble. Look at what Mr. Giz.
It's like he's consciously aware when you do live streams.
I know he's always like that. It's amazing.
So here's my question: Is it possible for a society to break that cycle?
Well, I'm going to say definitely not.
Okay.
Aliens aren't going to help us. Ghosts, spirits, demons, angels are not going to help us either. Now, the funny part, while I'm saying that, angels are not teachers. They never came down and worked as teachers. The only place where you hear angel is as a teacher was with the Muslims, and Muhammad meets with Gabriel, and then Gabriel teaches him. Really? He didn't even know who he was working with. His brother tells him who it was. How's that even possible? Oh, you're working with Gabriel. Really? So, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't work with something, but we'll get into that maybe today some other time. But how do you determine what you're working with, if it's real or really what they say they are? Most spirits, angels, entities can take on a form whatever they want you to perceive or see, and then they can make you believe it. There's certain ways to challenge them, which should always be done, unless you totally believe it. But most people see somebody in a white robe or something, they believe it's Jesus or something important automatically.
Yeah, they're too brainwashed to even consider questioning.
Well, you might have heard this. Like, if you have a circle, you put people around a circle, say 100 people or 1,000 people, and you start a story and you give it to the first person, you tell them to spread it around the circle. Do you think that's going to come back anywhere near the original story? Of course not. So when we talk about thousands of years and telling a story over and over, really? And then who decides to write it down? The people that probably have the story had no ability to write or was capable of writing. I mean, if you look at artwork was pretty lame through all of our history. All the things have been passed down are pretty lame as far as drawings. I mean, you really can't even tell what it is. So to say that they were more advanced, more intelligent, I would not never go that far. And then I'll say, what races are we talking about? I was talking to a person who claimed to be God, but he said, well, we've been here a long time. I said, no, when you look at history, all it says is our ancestors. And to the human race, ancestors just mean beings that walked on two legs. It doesn't mean anything else. It doesn't mean their brains exactly like us, they think like us, they have feelings and emotions like we are. No. And basically, if you go into the caveman and all of the Neanderthal man and all those different time frames, they were not us. And I challenged God. I said, tell me when the first human white person came to this planet. I mean, then you'll hear the stories we came from Africa. And the stories just get lied and bigger. And science will never prove anything important to the human race about spiritual growth and awareness, which is sad. I mean, if they were trying to prove the truth, which they're not, they're doing the opposite. They're trying to prove the opposite of the truth. They're trying to prove there is no God. There is no aliens. There is no this, everything. They're trying to prove the opposite of that, which is a danger to us. All right, people. I've been in the UFO world most of my life. I've been on a spiritual quest most of my life. All right. Most people tell other people's stories. And in the UFO world, they're telling everybody else's stories over and over again. I mean, you can't go on TV or any place, watch TV and see a story coming out with actually Roswell. One of the oldest UFO stories told, but it's keep being told over and over. All right, people like Travis Walton, who did the movie Fire in the Sky, he doesn't even know what really happened. So when you get stories told down by other people, even people that had an experience, one experience doesn't make you a genius. It doesn't give you all the information, and it probably gives you very little about what's really going on. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, I worked with abductees from the time I was 20. And in those time frames, women were getting their children taken and all kinds of stuff was going down. And they don't even talk about that now. All right. I mean, you got Caroline Corey telling how good it is to women get implanted by aliens and they raise a hybrid and all these things. Like it's all going to be a good thing. I don't know what people think. Well, I'll say this. There's no connection spiritually. Even though that's one of the biggest words used today, spiritualism and love. Two words that are totally useless in this reality right now. And I'm doing this workshop, and if the person's ready, if you're really ready to look at the truth instead of the lies over and over and growing bigger and bigger, I will give you everything you need to know how to move forward spiritually, not money-wise. I'm not here to help you make money, make friends. It's not about that. Friends isn't the answer either. You're on this journey. Go ahead.
And this is why personally I am here. Is because I want to know, unlike most people.
Right. Okay. When a UFO person tells a story, when they tell it a year later or 2 years later, it gets better. Not like the Oh, Hillbilly came on and says he doesn't believe in soul. Well, I guess you don't need to stay here then. This is about soul, about what you really are when you die. I mean, this isn't about, I'm not going to take dumb questions. I'm not going to talk about things that are so irrelevant to what I'm talking about or get into. All right. There's many things going on right now, and mankind has no clue to what spiritualism even means. And never mind, they're more concerned about their emotions and feelings than anything else. And life isn't about feeling good, but they have been programmed to believe that's all it's about. All right. Many people tell their stories, and I listen to them. I listen to every workshop, every talk that I can. I was lecturing for global sciences with Sergeant 18 for about 5 years. I met all the cool people in the UFO world. Most of them were died, killed, and taken out. And I'm saying that for real. My friends have been taken out. You always giving out. It's funny. All right. Here's the thing, people. You know, when people ask questions, I'm doing this workshop because it's not about questions, it's about answers. I'm going to be giving people answers to the questions. They have to figure out how to determine if they're real or not and bring them into their own reality. All right. And when they do, they will be able to move forward. Without the questions that the answers to the questions that these people have, they will never find the truth. Never. There's not one speaker I heard in the past 10 years that had anything important to say to a person. I mean, whether it's religious or so called spiritual, like Deepak Chopra, Nikitoli, I attack them. I don't use the word attack, but I go put my sentences underneath them, my quotes, every day I can, because they're feeding people with false information. Why is there a need of body? Well, you're going to have to learn that, because there was a reason why we chose it. We didn't choose this body. We were put in it for a reason. And it's not the reason to make mankind better. So, all right, here's the thing. I want to be talking about many things. Okay, it's going to be UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, teachers, masters, shamans, spiritual guides, deities, angels, demons, Satan, and God. All right. I mean, people don't even believe in God right now. And that's sad. It's not going to help mankind move forward in any way. I can go into all the facts of my UFO stuff, my alien stuff, Bigfoot, and masters, and shamans. I'll do that later if I want to get into that today or not. This is only to try to get people that are really ready to take a step out of the program world they live in, the ideas that they believe in, to look at the truth. Even the concept of love is so messed up on this planet. And it's only 2,000 years old, people. Only 2,000 years old. And in that time frame, they abused it and made it mean something totally different than what it really was. All right. I mean, this isn't a question and answer right now, really. Straight answer. What do I believe? Believe God is real. Gizzo, stop. Come on. I had 5 death experiences. I spent 40 years traveling out of my body. All right. I traveled through all the realms to the higher realms of God. And I don't care what people say. Most people never get past the astral plane. He's always in here when I do my show. But here's the thing. When we talk about masters, teachers, they all have a programmed idea. And the programmed idea started a long time ago. That's what happened to mankind. Now, one of the most important things. Hold on. Gizmo, you want to get out? Come on, yeah. Go. Sorry about that, people. Okay, mankind really doesn't care about the truth, and they didn't. They have never. All right. In the past, let's go back to the beginning. Atlantis was, to me, the most important time of this world. All right. You know, look, I'm not going to answer these questions. I'm sorry, Hillbilly. You want to do it some other time? Okay. Talking about things like that, if you don't know what you're talking about, I can't explain it all to you right now. Ghosts do exist. All right. And that's because souls aren't aware where they go and how to get. And that's why a lot of souls are here. Even psychics, when they talk to people and they talk to the spirits, that's because that soul didn't move on. Once you move past the astral plane, there's no reason to communicate with planet Earth. You're not attached to people. Reincarnation exists. And if you're aware of your reincarnations, you had multiple families. It's not like you just had one wife and you loved her all your life and you died. It's not like that. But if you believe the programmed ideas and programs what people can do, make you believe, you're stuck in a reality that's not even close to the truth. All right. I'll tell you, when I work with shamans, it was interesting. When I work with spiritual guides, it was much different. I work with deities. Very few people can say they actually work with deities, and I proved it. So here's the thing. Deities don't talk about planet Earth either. They don't come down and say, well, you need to get a job, you got to build a house, nothing like that. They don't deal with that. No inner beings do. So when they talk about aliens and dimensional beings, when they talk about we're going to help you, that never happened in 30,000 years and in 100,000 years. It never happened. They were always at war, and they're still at war. I'm not even going to go into that, but I'll tell you the truth. Nobody can talk about the wars the United States government had with aliens. And we did. The truth is, people don't want the truth. I'm sorry to tell you that. All right. Now, on the other hand, well, I'm going to give you the truth of life, truth of death, truth of living, truth of birth, truth of all those things. I'm going to get into all that in this workshop. I mean, if you ever heard the word crib death, when does soul step into the body, all those kind of things. I started doing hypnosis when I was 14. And I started doing past life regression when I was 20. I did psychic implant removals when I was 25. Things that weren't here. Nobody even talked about them. I just did it. All right. Now, people could say what they want and talk, but this isn't going to be about that. When I do the workshop, it's going to be 2 hours. At the end of the workshop, I will answer questions, not during it, or I'll never get through half of the stuff that I want to talk about. This may take 4 to 7, 8, 9, 10 days, 2 hours every day that I do it. I'll be doing every weekend. I was going to charge, and I would give them a reasonable price, but I decided, no, I don't need money. I grew up in New Jersey, all right, for 45 years. So here's the thing. When you work with angels, when you work with masters, when you work with teachers, they all have a set program that they can teach. If they were God, they wouldn't be here, first off, or they wouldn't be in the lower realms if they were that aware. Because as soul becomes more aware, it goes into higher levels. So when people say, well, we all go to the same place. No, you don't. Heaven's not one place. Even Jesus in his own teachings said in God's world, there's many places. Not like you go to heaven and there's heaven, and we're all in heaven and we all meet and party in heaven until forever. It's a ridiculous, lunatic idea. The programming started way before that, though. It started after Atlantis was destroyed. I'm aware of all my lives back to Atlantis and one lifetime before it. So when I talk about my experiences during it. I've proved many things all my life to myself to know what I'm talking about. All right. Now, when I say God, all right, there is a real God. It's not just an energy. It's not the universe. It's not the cosmos or anything like that. No. The light that people talk about is only a light that comes down from God through all the realms. All right. And it fills people with what they need if they can tune into it. Now, when Buddha taught about the bliss state, there are people that tuned into that energy and stay in it. In that space, there's no movement. You're not thinking about who you are, what you're doing, what you're going to do. You're just in a space of energy. It's a great place to stop, to learn, to heal, to whatever you need to do. But if you get stuck there, you're not thinking about moving on either. Now, I'm going to tell you something real simple. The fastest, the most easiest, and simplest, shortest way to learn to become the maximum you can spiritually is to stay on planet Earth. Because if you leave here, say you die tomorrow, and you get to stay on the astral plane, usually you reincarnate. But if you get to stay on the astral plane, you're happy. It's better than here, so you're happy. But you don't look forward to moving on from there. Once you're given what you think you want, you have no desire to move from that. Give a drug addict all the drugs they want. Where are they going to go? Nowhere. You have to realize when you're in hell, which this is, people, sorry to tell you the truth. Now, the Pope said there's no such thing as hell because he's living in it and he's destroying Christianity. In his own way, he's going to bring it down to the lowest level. He's trying to unite Christianity with Muslims. And it's called Chrislams. I don't know how to say it, but his idea of uniting Muslims with the Christians. I don't want to get into his stuff because he said Adam and Eve was a fake story, which it was in a great detail. And if you believe the Anunnaki story, they use that whole story. So going to all the stories people believe, they're all lies. Yeah, fear is one thing that the Anunnaki and the reptilians and the Nordics and all those races did to the united people of this planet. And what they did is took away compassion, all right? And they fed it with hate and anger, the desire to kill, the desire to eat meat, all right? All those things, abuse and crime, that didn't exist in Atlantis, people. We were the most spiritual race ever to live in this lower realm. And obviously, aliens don't have feelings and emotions like we do. They don't understand us. So obviously, they cannot work with us. And all these people coming out. I wrote her 10 letters, Caroline Corey. Her movie's Among Us. Watch it. It's online. And they're talking about impregnating a human with an alien to have a drone and all these other words, hybrid. And like it's a good thing. She talks about reprogramming people's DNA. You should never want or allow or have somebody else program your DNA. And when the person thinks they can do that, they are playing God in this reality. There's so many things happening right now people don't understand. I'm not going to get into the virus. I lost my last video because I mentioned it and what's going on with that. But outside of everything I'm saying, UN Agenda 21-30. Look it up. See what it means. You'll understand what's happening to the planet right now in every way. All right. But that's not where I'm going. It has nothing to do with spiritualism. All I can tell you, I never say I'm spiritual. When you're spiritual, there's no reason to stay in hell. But until you attain that, when you're working towards it, which I am, and I have always been, everything just gets more clearer. What you are as soul. When people say we don't believe in soul, what do you believe you are? A puppet on a battery and run around because of somebody programmed a puppet to do something? People believe a lot of things. We're all one. All one what? Ignorant fools? What's a scientific fact? I mean, we're all puppets? No, we're not. Soul people, spiritual people, on a spiritual quest, do many things that science will never touch. Never in 1,000 years.
I can't tell if you have trolls in here or not.
I don't know what. The combinations of what they're saying, it's up and down. When people have very little truth, this is not about question and answer game.
Yep.
I'm giving you the truth. You want it, listen. You don't leave. Plain and simple, people. I can't make it any clearer than that. You want to live in La La Land? Shut this off and go pull up some other site. Pull up Corey Good. Pull up Richard Dole.
Unfortunately, trolls have nothing better to do in their life but to cause chaos.
Well, there's no simple way to become spiritually aware. There's no simple thing to do. It's all a matter of work, not working in the grocery store or on a food chain or anything like that. It's working with yourself. And it's not meditation. Meditation can't get you there. That's voided the most important part of meditation. All right, I don't call it meditation. I call it a spiritual exercise. You have to be doing something in that meditation to make it do something. You don't go into meditation to relax and come, oh, I feel good now. What? You're in hell. What are you doing? Nothing's different. The air's contaminated. The water's contaminated. Food's contaminated. And you're happy? Children are dying in mass numbers. The world's deteriorating. Oh, I'm happy. Definition of a troll. A troll could be good or bad. Some people call me a troll when I go into their site because people don't like the truth. The sad part is very few people have any truth. Trolls in general ask dopey questions or say dopey things like, I'm God. I mean, I dealt with a guy who claimed to be God for 3 months. He was my friend's brother. And I went over there and he would start debating me and saying all this stuff and saying, "You'll come to me one day." I said, "Come to you? Really? Do a miracle." I don't have to. Ridiculous. That ridiculous. You got to prove it. Oh, no, I don't. Well, then don't even say it. I don't want to hear you.
That's one heck of an ego. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, it's a big ego at that.
My
But
God.
here's the thing. He believes it. And he'll debate anything and say, well, if you talk about death, he said, well, that's a good thing. I mean, I don't want to get into it. He was just pretty perverted in the thinking of what God is. Okay, a perspective of troll is a man-made word for somebody that got somebody feeling the wrong way. All right, all words are man-made, and they make them to feel their energy, their attitude, their awareness at the time when they create them. You think the person that wrote the definition of spiritual knew what it meant? You think the person that wrote the definition of a deity actually knew what it meant? I mean, when they create words like that, reincarnation. How many people understand reincarnation? There's books and books written about it, and they really didn't have a true experience with it.
Heck, most of the disciples, barely understood Jesus' teachings.
Somebody said, "Do you have all the questions?" Well, I do have the answers for life and death and reincarnation. People, you want it, you can have it. It's not mine alone. Jesus was teaching it, and nobody listened. They took what he said and molded it into their protection. Oh, we're protected. He took our sins away. He did this. No, he didn't. He never did. He didn't die for your stupid sins. He died because his own people didn't protect him.
I think that would be a good example, right? The Bible.
Right. Well, the Bible's a good example. There's about 10% truth in that. But you have to filter through all the things that went down. Nobody even knows what Jesus went through when he was with Lucifer. And Lucifer wasn't Satan. People have a bad, when he was with Satan, not Lucifer. I said that backwards, sorry. Lucifer was the highest angel that fell. Satan is the person, entity that's here in this reality with his army. And they are taking over a big percentage of the world. And they were rebellions.
He's one of the deities in the astral, right?
And this, who are we talking about?
Satan. He's one of the deities in the astral, right?
No, he's here. Lucifer's in the astral plane. Lucifer is equal to like, I won't even say who he's equal to right now. People have no idea.
Okay.
But he's higher level. He was the highest angel. They all had a fight and they were all kicked out. But they're in the astral plane. Only one of them. Most of them aren't the same place as he is because he's the highest.
I gotcha. So Lucifer is in the astral, but Satan is down here in hell, basically.
Satan's army runs this place.
Okay.
I mean, the movie Lucifer was great. I mean, they did it the best way they could, but I really liked it. I thought it was my favorite TV series. But Lucifer is an incredible being. He has a mission. That's why he's still there. I mean, even Satan has his mission. Satan has a mission to keep negativity in the world of negativity. And that's why if you sell your soul to him, he doesn't just kill you because you sold your soul to him. He gives you what you want to keep you here in hell. All right? If he gave you things you wanted, like spiritual awareness, you'd leave him. And he'd be stuck here all by himself with his little army. I don't want to get into that. I mean, that is part of a problem, a serious problem, because more people accept Satan than they do anything spiritual. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in heaven. They don't believe in all the inner things. They just believe in the universe is God and we're all part of it. Part of what? A sick, vibrating ball of garbage? We have not done anything important in 30,000 years. We have not created anything positive in 30,000 years. And toys aren't positive. Every toy man makes takes us further and further away from our spiritual truth. All right? We can dematerialize for a short period of time. We all can. Many high lamas and beings did. But when they say, well, aliens can dematerialize, well, they do for a short period of time. But if they go back to a ship, they're an alien. And superdimensional beings don't travel around in a ship. See, I've been in that world for a long time. I filmed ships. I filmed aliens. I filmed all that. So I'm not saying things because I heard somebody else write about it.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
mean,
planning on bringing. Good.
I can attest to that too. You know, I've seen plenty, my share of orbs and unique things like Merkabahs as well.
Right. Now, I'm planning on bringing Sean David Morton on my show. Right. He just got out. But he was the person taking people to Area 51 to see the ships landing there. When they found that out, they bought all that land and then became super hard to get even near the land where it was. But it was because he brought a van up there with 6 people in it, and they would watch the ship come in and land right next to the Army base. So he was the first person that ever did that. When you hear all these stories in the UFO world, he was the first person to do that. All right. So when people talk about this and that in the UFO world, they have no clue. All the whistleblowers, they might all be programmed. Now, I worked with the first astronaut. I had him on my show. He said he said he never saw an alien, never saw a UFO. He said he saw strange things in space.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he was never taken to see an alien. He was never shown anything about it. All right. And they created a space program for him. All right. Now, the ones that came after, the ones that just came out about aliens and everything else. Well, you know, evolution is not the problem. Humans are the problem. The world comes, changes, and everything. It stays intact. It's still planet Earth. We have the ability to destroy it right now. We have the ability to break down the environment that we're screwing up. Fire. I don't want to get into all that right now. We're destroying the planet. No, whether Mr. Rumpo believed it or not, he just had a problem. Biden believes in the environment, but I mean, you know, a president's stuck in a box. They're put there to be the spokesperson for Congress, and Congress decides what they want. All these old, whatever you want to call them, making the laws and rules and regulations for what we have to do. The Constitution of the United States was taken away from the native people and then given to these rich people to control us. I don't want to get into that too. That's another problem in my reality, what they're doing to native people. So, you know, people, if you want the truth, again, I'm going to get into these topics one by one, go through them a little bit slower, so you can at least start understanding what it means, death. What does it really mean? Some people don't believe anything's after this. Well, that's a serious problem for them. They're living a life that's short. It can't go any longer than 125 years, and then they're gone from reality. I mean, if I believe that, why live? This reality isn't that outrageous that I need to stay here for that long. And if you believe Moses stayed 500 years and 100 years and at a time, and totally 1,000 years, really. All right. Now, I want to get into one word. Well, the Vatican can cure poverty. Mr. Musk can cure poverty. Mr. Gates could cure poverty, but they don't. I call him Bosco Head, spent $50 million or $1 billion? $5 billion to go into space for 10 minutes? What a sick entity that is. He could have healed and fed every child on the planet. I mean, he could have done incredible things. But his ego was so big, he had to get his cheap drills off, which men like to do. All right. So, yeah, we've got problems on this planet, and ego is growing, meaning mankind is becoming more sicker than they have ever been. The toys they play with are very sick. Dummies, robot dummies to have sex with. I mean, you can't get any worse than that, I don't think. But what they're doing and what they're creating is not beneficial for growth spiritually. Well, wealth will get rich because they starve and hurt the poor. And there's so many more poor people, they keep getting richer. That's not going to change. When the Constitution was created, the people that created that, all of them were rich people. You couldn't vote unless you had property and were rich. I mean, it's a horrible system, what they created from what the native people created. The unity, when the Constitution was created by the native people, was about the unity. Why do you think they have an eagle with the arrows in his claws and talon and things like that? There's reasons why that was created and why they stole it. But they took all native teachings and put it into the American white race, and they denied them access to being part of the United States. They were government property up until 19 something, and then they weren't even allowed to pray until 1925. I mean, it's a whole horrible story. All right, there's a lot of things I still want to get into. All right, people. Sometimes I can say that over. It's not about programmed ideas. Everything you think about, everything you know is probably a programmed idea. What is the definition of love? What is the definition of spiritual? Think about it. Write it down on a piece of paper. All right. I'm not trying to promote. Just stop in and just see what I say about it. Then compare what you wrote, what it is, what God is. I'll tell you, 99.9% of everybody on this planet that describes God describes the opposite of what it truly is. All right. And that's just because of programming, not because they experience God. The person that wrote Conversation with God, I challenged him 10 times. Oh, I'll give you my book. I don't want your stupid book. I want to debate you live. The same as Deepak Chopra, Ekatoli, all those kind of people. Talking about being in the now. You can't be in any other place. You can't be in the future and you can't be in the past. You can think about it, but that doesn't put you there.
You got
You're
no
in
choice.
the present. You can't be your higher self because you are the same person always. Will become your higher self. Really? Get on a pedestal. You're higher now. That's all you do. All these ideas, the propaganda mankind is feeding people is disgusting. I'm sorry, people. You're going to hear it the hard way, not simple. I'm not going to make you smile. I'm not going to make you jump up and down and be super happy. But I will tell you this. The more you unfold, the closer you become aware to awareness, the more peaceful, more loving, more compassionate you'll feel for yourself and for God. All right? You'll understand much more than you'll ever understand thinking you're in love with the person next to you, your cat, your dog, your house, your car, whatever. It's not going to help you. When you're on your dying bed and you're ready and you know you're going to be taking your last couple of breaths, what do you think is going to be going through your mind? Oh, God, come and get me, help me, save me. Jesus, come save me. That's what most people think. The programmed idea. Because now they they didn't believe it all their life, and now they're dying. They have to believe it because now they said, "Now I don't know what's going to happen." Because they don't.
Most people, because of the brainwashing, think when they die they're going to turn into angels and go straight to heaven.
See, I'm going to go into a whole part of that because these people that think their family that die become angels. You don't become an angel ever. You're not an angel. Angels don't take on human bodies. So these people that believe that, and you're not there protecting your daughter, your son, your grand. Oh, well, he comes and protects me. Really? That means he's not in the astral plane. He's here. That means that soul didn't move on because you got an attachment to that soul. That soul's attached to you. They can't move on. It's called. What would be a good word for that? Attachment, and that keeps most souls here to reincarnate. Speak for yourself, whatever that means. Here's the thing.
Yeah, I was wondering. Hey, get a little more details when you say stuff like that. We'd like to know.
Yeah, speak for yourself about what? About death and attachment and those words? I'm telling you, I had 5 death experiences. I spent 45 years traveling out of my body. I worked with deities. I worked with angels. I met Satan. I met Lucifer. So you want to go all along that path? When I was with Jesus, I was alive in that lifetime. Where do you want to go? How many people can understand what was really going on when Jesus was alive? His own people helped kill him. I mean, they talk about the saints. St. Thomas and Mary Magdalene were the 2 closest to him, and they actually left the country and brought the teachings. Thomas brought the teachings of Jesus to India, and Mary Magdalene went to France, Italy, all those countries, and she brought the teachings there. She had a daughter, but that's besides the point. So the truth is there, but the Christians, I mean, if you found out that the priests knew Mary Magdalene was a spiritual person, but they could never admit that. Women were only freed years after Jesus left. Well, guess what? Uh, I'm just closing the chat room because there's no use. Uh,
Yeah,
it-
yeah. Feel free to kick this individual.
all right. Sorry, people.
We don't got time for any of this game stuff. This is all
I
serious.
don't have time for people that don't know where they're going, what's going to happen when they die, and they're on drugs. No, I'm not a drug person, whoever wants to believe that or not. I don't smoke and I don't drink. Do you? Uh, all right. This is only for people ready to move forward. You can move backwards anytime you want. You don't need me to do that. You can go to every person speaking out there, listen to them talking, go to priest, rabbi, pope, minister, whatever, shaman, medicine person. You're not going to move forward spiritually. You may think you are, you may believe you are, but can you even prove it to yourself? All right. Uh, Protection. People have no definition of what protection really means in this physical reality. They don't know how to protect themselves from energy, from people, from things, and especially at a psychic level. There's simple things you can do. There's a simple technique to learn how to protect yourself from anything happening if you learn how to use it. And you know, I look at what people say. It's amazing. But here's questions. What happens at birth? Do you even have a clue? Why are you born and why? Yeah, because your mother and father had sex, right? Okay. But why you as a soul came into that body? What happens in your life and why? Why do you go through certain things? And what does love really mean to you in your lifetime? Do you have a clue what it really is? What it's about? Why you're in love? Why you think you're in love? Okay, when the body, this body that soul is in people, dies, mind of the brain dies. You don't take mind with you. And that's something different between me and Buddha. Uh, you are soul. And I proved it. There's a religion out there that proves it to themselves, and it's worldwide, and it's an old religion. Uh, Shab Yoga and Ekankar. Ekankar is a newer form of it, a lot abstract from the original. But it's learning how to leave your body, learning how to get in touch with deities and other things that are more important than talking to Joe Schmo down the street. All right. Reincarnation is real, people. And there's some souls, some children being born with the awareness of their last life in detail. And they prove it. So, souls trying to move forward. But the amount of souls moving forward is not even close to the numbers that are moving backwards. And that means we're slowly deteriorating. Why do you think races have been wiped out and taken off the planet? Because they were fighting, because they were ignorant, and they weren't moving forward. And when Atlantis was here, they realized we were spiritual, and they didn't want that to happen. People fear the truth. People don't fear the lies. We'll just lie about it. We'll tell them something else. We'll give them another story.
Yeah, because they've gotten so comfy with the fact that they can go on Sunday and repent their sins, and then Jesus will just take care of it.
No.
That is definitely not the case.
Well, there's 2.5 billion Christians on the planet, 2.2 billion Muslims. So you got two religions which are pretty much locked into their ideas. And the Pope wants to unite the Muslims with his, then there'd be a biggest percentage of the planet. But it's not about God. It's not about truth. It's about programming and control.
Well, it's two major egos going at each other, basically.
Right? That's a little bit scary. All right. Now, people don't want to talk about something that else is really important called the silver cord. What's the silver cord? Well, if you don't know, you need to know because you have one. If you ever leave your body, you will know that. But until that happens, you won't believe it. You don't even know it, or you might not ever know it, which means you didn't become aware of one of the important things you have to learn while you're here. These UFO people talk about things they don't know. I mean, if I talk about an alien because I saw one, I talk about a UFO, I was right next to one. When I talk about Bigfoot, I was right next to one. When I talk about death, I had 5 death experiences. I talk about that. Yeah, because I experienced it. Not because I read a book on somebody's experience with it and created a theory and an idea. When people talk about why they think aliens are here, really? I've been working with that all my life. I know why they're here. And it's nothing good. I mean, you got people coming out making it sound good. We're going to clone aliens or hybrid aliens with us. Are they better than us? Why would you want to clone? Clone yourself with a monkey. Clone yourself with a dolphin. At least they have the same exact brain that we do. I mean, it's just ridiculous ideas that these people come up with. Is mind-boggling. What really goes on in the air? Oh, I met my father. Well, where is he? On the airplane. Well, what's he doing? Waiting for me. To do what? To sit down and talk about good times? People don't know anything about spiritual growth and what it means and what it entails and what happens when you attain that. All right. Feeling good. Good times. Sex. Man's understanding of love are all the things that keep mankind here. They're happy with that. I mean, they kind of feel, well, that's their saving grace. She's asking who. Uh-oh. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, all right, because I lost my sight. Sorry about that. Uh, yeah. Well, I was going to go on. I'm going to go on a little bit longer.
Okay.
I can't even figure out how to close up my chat room. Sorry about that. I can block it, but oh well, forget it. I'm not worried about it right now. But it's just that when I have this show, I can close it out because I don't know if people are going to see that when they come on.
Do you have the StreamYard
Yeah,
chat?
that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Usually you can. Okay, I did it. I found it. Okay, block that person out. Sorry about that. But again, we were going nowhere. That's for sure. So, people, this workshop is free. I mean, if you want to send me a donation or something like that afterward, that's your choice. But I'm not charging for it. Uh, I just feel the truth is really important to get it out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever you feel, think about it. If you're ready, it's a perfect place to go. If you're not, I suggest don't come. If you're not ready to let go of all these, everybody says they have their truth, but is it real? I mean, if it makes you feel good, okay, but that doesn't mean it's helping you.
Yeah.
Feeling good is an emotion of the mind. There's only five emotions that we have, 5 senses, and they have nothing to do with spiritual truth or awareness. Because when you step out of your body's indestructible. Your soul body, but you are. Your physical body can be chopped up, burnt, whatever. It can be destroyed any which way. Soul cannot be. And once you
Only,
experience, go
only
ahead.
by God, though, right?
Well, I hate to say that. God would only do that in extreme cases.
Right. If a soul is um, not able to be, fixed after, thousands and millions of lives, then God, I would assume, has to make that decision.
Well, you know, it gives souls so many opportunities to
Right.
grow. I mean, it is loving in that way, but realize you're in hell. So it's not going to say, well, he got hurt today, he got raped, he got killed, he got shot. No, it's your karma that you're playing with. And if you can't realize that, and then you start taking out more and more and more other people, I mean, somebody killed a whole city, and they reincarnated again. So it's a lot of bad things to be at a point where you get taken out from being a soul.
Right.
But this is hell, and this is where a soul has to learn. And if it doesn't, it just stays here.
See, I've got so many questions, and I'm excited. I can't wait until the actual workshop starts. But it's so frustrating for the fact that so many people in this world don't even care or don't even care to ask these questions.
I don't know how people are raised in their families. Some of them can't even talk about sex to their father. If it's a boy, can't talk about sex to their mom. They can't talk about things, and they're afraid to talk about things.
Hmm.
And then they get locked out of that. And then they're put in situations that are worse because if their father's pretty twisted. I don't want to get into the stories, but they're always bad. Men have no good advice to give their children ever.
It, it, well, it's because of that vicious human programming cycle.
The cycle doesn't stop
Yeah,
here in this
exactly,
reality.
exactly.
And until you take your feet and put them on the ground and says, I'm going to walk forward, is it ever going to change? All right. Now, people that think they can do whatever they want, they'll realize it someday, some reality, some incarnation, but probably not this one. It's like a bank. You can put as much money in there as you want. And as long as it's in there, it's in there. But you keep taking it out, the bank runs empty.
Hmm.
And then there's nothing in there. So if you're not doing positive things, you're doing negative things. So you're draining your reality from changing. And then when you come close to death and you think about it, you can't just say, forgive me, I have sinned, or I'll take it all away, which many people assume they can.
Yeah, they're dying bad. Jesus, come and swoop me away. That is not the case.
Jesus gets the most persecution out of all of them,
I I feel bad.
especially in this reality, because, it's like, what good person? Most of the spiritual people, I don't even, most of the people that were aware and trying to bring truth out were killed. All the spiritual people had serious problems in their life. Most of them were killed. Few were poisoned and lived through it. Two, I think, out of all the people I searched out, died of a death at about 70 and 80. So they made it through most of their life without being a victim of being shot or killed different ways and stuff.
Mm.
But the truth is, it's not about that. It's learning who you are and what that means. When somebody says soul's not real, well, that's their choice to believe that.
It, well, yeah. Every time I hear that in my mind, I I kind of feel bad, but I know I shouldn't because it's not my journey.
You know, mankind has been programmed to take on other people's problems.
Hmm.
We're here to save mankind. No, we're not.
We're
No
here.
person is ever going to do that.
Yeah.
Change their reality, you can. Take away their air, take away their food, take away something, yeah, but you're not going to change who they are. Telling them that there's something isn't going to change them either. People like to be told they're important. They're much more spiritual than they thought they were. Really? Name one person that is. Please, I learned a lot, and I'm not going to say anything about it until I start the workshop about psychics. I know I worked with TJ for a long time, and she's a psychic. But I mean these psychics that are making big bucks, like $500 an hour.
Are you referring to T.J. Morris?
Yeah, well, like I said, she's a psychic.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
But I'm talking about many other psychics that claim to charge $500 to do an hour interview, a talk, whatever. I tried to I really wanted a question answered. And I believed in this person because everybody said she was the best there is. I called her up and said, I only have one question. She goes, sorry, I can't answer it. She could have taken my $500 and give me any stupid answer she wanted, right?
Hmm.
But she didn't. Because there's a thing called awareness and being able to see the light. If a person sees the light of another person and they're aware, they know where that person's coming from. So she knew she couldn't lie to me. And she also knew she couldn't answer my question. Most psychics, you give them what's his face, Van Prong, and all those people, they're booked solid for 2 years. And everybody pays them $500 for a half hour, whatever. So they're multi-rich, taking it from people, telling them, oh, your father's there happy or this or that. If they truly are, it's not a good thing.
Well, that's fine. That's the karma that they'll have to deal with.
Well, but what I'm saying is when they tell a person that their father's watching them, that means they didn't unfold enough to get away from this reality, which is really critical.
And you know the sad part, because I've talked to certain individuals personally that I know, that their relatives or the loved ones have passed, and I've told them that them being stuck here and them seeing chairs move and stuff, it's not a good thing. But they see it as, oh my gosh, they're still with me, they still love me. I don't know how to get that through to them, because they don't seem to understand.
Realize this too for yourself. You can't help too many people, especially when they believe something or they're going through something. You could just be there, a friend, if they need it, but you're not going to be able to guide them to see the truth. That's
well, yeah, I understand it's a delicate situation, and that's why I never push it.
Well, there's no room for doubt. You either want the truth or you don't. If you have to ask yourself, give yourself some time to think about it. If you want the truth, I promise you, if you come to the class, you'll grow. It'll give you information that you need. I gave up talking to programmed people. They don't want anything other than a program. Thinking they're going to get an answer from a scientist or the God gene and all these words. I'm not going to get into that now, but there's a lot more to it, much more to that than science will ever touch. I mean, in all these years, they can't prove psychic abilities and create them and use them. Except the real downplay that affected everything was what Tesla brought out to the world. And that was time travel, which is actually the reason why the world's going to crash in a great way. You can't change time. And when you do, it changes reality. Change reality, it's no longer the same. So the Pleiadians are us from the future, and they're doing everything they can to stop us from doing that. But it was some stupid race, which I do not know what race it was. Tesla never said what race he worked with because he probably didn't know. But he was given 200 inventions, 550 of them were weapons. Why would a race give a person all those kind of weapons? If you're on a spiritual path, you know killing is not the answer for anything. And when you get involved with that, you only become part of the problem. You don't get rid of the problem. So science is not the answer, never will be. Now, here's the thing, people. Anybody that's interested in finding the truth or seeing the truth, understanding the truth, moving forward from where they are, now I don't care where you think you are, do you know what God looks like? Do you know what heaven looks like? Do you know what the different realms of God's worlds look like even? You don't. All right. Now, what happens between life and death? What do you think you go through? What do you think you look like when you change? All those questions can be answered. And they're simple answers. Science can't answer any of them. Nobody knows. And all the other people will say, nobody knows. No, speak for yourself. Because you don't know doesn't mean everybody else doesn't know. A lot of people know the truth, but they don't talk about it. They're living their lives to serve it out. I mean, you can be part of this problem, be part of this world, but you don't have to become it. And you don't have to say, well, that's what I am, because it's not what you are. So please, people, send me an email if you're interested in a workshop, because the workshops are closed to the public. When I put the links up, they will only go to the people I send them to. Now, I don't want people coming that are not aware. I mean, don't want to become aware, that are happy with their lives and all that, because this is sheer proof, evidence, and working with situations and life, what it really means. Understanding it, learning what it means to leave this reality. the benefits of not staying here. All right. All those things are important if you want to become more aware and spiritual. If you like it here, you think it's great, this is everything you desire, you might not want to go to a higher realm. If you like being in hell, I mean, Satan has his army and they're happy being here. They like playing with us. If you play the game.
It seems like most souls do not want to go higher because it's pretty evident because like you said before there are more souls coming in than coming out.
What was I going to put up here? I just wanted to put up. All right. I'm going to put my link in the site for anybody that wants to text me. All right. This is the one I'm using for the workshop. All right. Because I need your link to come to the workshop. So,
you cut out their mid-sentence. You need the link.
Okay. You need to send me an email so I have it, so I can send you the link to come into the workshop.
Okay.
So just put it out there so I have it, because I'm going to do my first class this week, at least start it. I'm going to put one in the middle of the week, and then the rest of them will probably be on the weekends. But they will be able to be, you'll be able to get into them anytime because you will have the link for that one. But nobody else will be able to.
Okay.
All right. It's people. I'm not just doing this to be mean. It's about truth, awareness, being acceptable to the truth. If you're not ready for it and you don't want it, there's no reason to come. It's that simple. I'm not doing this for money, so it's not like I want 10 million people. It doesn't matter. Because of 10 million people, how many of them really want to take a step forward? They're already happy with their programmed ideas. The UFO world is becoming so sad. I don't even want to be part of it no more. I mean, there's UFOs over my house and everything all the time. People around me are saying, did you check the mothership that came by? We had a mothership over us within 3 months, I think 3 times already. And multiple people saw it. But you hear that, you hear people talking about that. People here in Hawaii don't watch the news. They don't know what's really happening around the world. It's kind of a bizarre place.
Oh, how's the volcano situation over there?
Well, our volcano started to grow, and it could be a serious problem soon. It's growing about a foot high every hour, and the flames are shooting about 3 stories high.
Oh, wow.
So there's people coming from all over to look at it already. And it could get to the point within 2 or 3 days where it's over the rim, meaning it will be pouring down the island. I can't say which way it's going to go. I'm not trying to read that at all.
Yeah.
It could happen soon. It's not my concern. I believe.
But that's on a different island than you're on, isn't it?
No, I'm on the island that's erupting.
Oh, okay. Ouch. Okay.
I had to move 6 years ago because the lava was coming. It was getting closer to the neighborhood. They closed all the stores. They put poles up and put these giant steel rings around them and filled them with rocks so they didn't burn down the poles and stuff like that. I moved. The week after I moved, it stopped. No lie.
Oh, wow.
I moved back 6 months later. But it was a choice. I could see my house get scrunched by lava. But we decided to move. And then within 2 weeks we moved, it stopped. I moved back 6 months later, the same house, believe it or not. But the lava hopefully will be going a different direction. Not that I want it to happen, but it will probably go in a different direction than what it was. Because we have tubes all through the island. Mm-hmm. And the lava is going through these tubes. But once it stops, those tubes get filled up with lava and they kind of freeze. So they'll probably take different tubes to travel through the island. So we'll see. I'm not going to say much about it. I don't even want to see it. Everybody wants to see it. I said, who wants to see burning rocks go flying into the sky that could be dangerous to the world and to us real soon? It doesn't turn me on, but some people, I mean, it's like watching fireworks. I don't get entertained by that anymore. When I was little, I did. But when you look at the truth and when you want the truth, it's a lot different than what we created. So, people, I'm cutting it off here now, but please send this link, put it out there. Anybody you know that might be interested in learning a little bit about life and death, understanding it in a greater way than the people programmed telling about it. Sorry about the trolls and whatever we call these people that come and go with weird questions and dumb questions. I always say a question's not dumb if you ask it. I mean, but if you're just doing it to be making fun of something, it's a different story. All right.
Yeah, we got no time for those people.
Exactly. So until next time, I'll please, people, send me a link. Anybody that's interested, because I'll send them a link for the workshop, and then it will be available anytime they click on that link to get into it. So it's not like you have to get there when I'm doing it. You could always text me or email me with questions and things if you tune into it after I'm not doing the show, because I'm not going to answer the questions until after the end of the workshop that day, because then it will just sidetrack me from getting into the conversation that I'm trying to get into about the subject. With that, people, it's a pleasure. I hope you got something out of today, understand what I'm trying to do and what I'm going to create. Thank you, Sasha, for coming on. That person says, who's Sasha? People, again, this is about yourself. It's not about anybody else.
Yeah, I don't answer dumb questions like that.
You got to figure out who you are. It's all about you. It's not about everybody else, your child, your dog, your cat, or anybody else. I mean, yeah, they're part of your life, but they're only a part of your life for a short period of time in your unending story. So it's up to you to decide how long you want that to go. But here's the end. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Thank you, Sasha. Enjoy your day, enjoy your night. Till we meet again, please text me at truthandgodonly@aol.com. If you send it to Hawksblood1, I will still get it too.
Okay,
right,
great, Tommy. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I appreciate your time as always. You take care.
Okay. Bye-bye, people. Bye, everybody.